Live. We're live.
We're live.
We're live. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Southern Gent Outdoors. It's been a while. How we doing? Am I being too loud, Aaron?
You're always too fucking loud. Welcome back. We're here. He's queer. Let's get after it.
We got some topics, boy.
I don't know if we got topics, but we got some damn complaints.
We
at
got
least.
many of them. Many of them. Go ahead. It's been a while since we've been back on.
Yeah. We're supposed to be doing this every week, and we've been slacking, obviously, because
I don't know if slacking is really right.
It's been a few weeks.
Term to use. I mean, we've been busy too. Just a little bit.
Maybe me.
Shit.
How you're sitting right now is what you've been doing for
Bowed
the past
up,
couple
son.
weeks.
Hey, don't get mad at what I do for a living.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But
so we'll start. I guess I'll start with the first issue. That was
well, where did we leave off last? This last
we were
podcast.
talking tactics and what our plans were. So
Yeah,
we've hit season now.
maybe we should do a recap.
That's part of the recap is the struggle. Trust me.
Oh, I know I'm there, but we been feeding for months, June or July, August, September, coming into deer season, deer every day. God.
He farted and it stinks, and he realized that
You're
he's laughing about it. It was him.
Oh boy, it was not me.
Whoever smelt it dealt it. That's what they say, right?
Holy shit. Anyways, come on now. So what I was saying was before I got smashed in the face, recap. Started off great, still great.
Yeah.
That's roadblocks, but
yeah, we started off great. Like I said in our initial episode, our property is I view it as more of a transition property. We were holding some deer during the summer, during their summer patterns and stuff, but our property's just not set up to just hold deer there 24/7. We got frequent flyers, does and stuff that come through, but we're
all
just
the time.
we're just not set up for that mature deer population for year round. And we had those bucks patterned and coming in every single day on a rope, pretty much.
Yeah.
For weeks, and we went and hunted opening day, went opening morning. He's seen a couple does.
Let him walk.
Yeah.
I
seen about 30 cows.
Yeah.
Walking all in front of me, and then I had a spike walk out, let him walk, and it was pretty hot October 1st here. Oklahoma's been riddled this year, man.
Yeah.
We've been in a heat wave. It's been dry. Hell, right now we got probably one of the biggest forest fires that's happened in a long time going on south of us down in the Wichitas.
Yeah.
That's, there's over 4,000 acres right now that are burned, homes displaced, everything else.
Yep.
So it's dry. We ain't got no rain, ponds drying up. I mean, everything. But that afternoon of opening day, it was going to be kind of warm. And he decided, he's like, man, I'm not going to do it. It's too hot. There's just no way.
Yeah, we hunted that morning, let a few walk. I came home and I was pilling around the garage. Yeah. I think I mowed my lawn. And you were like, no, I'm going.
Yeah.
Tuesday. 100%. That was a Tuesday.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I took off work.
Same.
I knew I was going.
Yep.
I've been watching, the forecast, everything else. And the weather, it was going to be pretty hot. But, man, the pressure was there. It was sitting around 32, 30.1, 30.2.
Yeah.
It's hanging around in there, and it was just, I don't know, it just, everything felt right to me, even with the heat.
Well, I think the biggest thing was it's opening day.
Yeah.
And we've been feeding, we've been out there, we've been monitoring,
We're spending money.
We've been doing what we can with what we had, watching these deer for a solid, I'd say 2 months.
Yeah.
And so it didn't matter come hell or high water, we were hunting up in the day.
100%.
And I think you made a good call going that evening.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And then this is where the struggle bus starts.
I went out that evening and I got lucky. There was no cattle at all. I dealt with cattle the whole morning. And I told him, I actually was thinking about not even going that afternoon because of the cattle. I told him, I said, I'm going to watch the cameras all afternoon. If cattle show up, even once, I'm not going back. I'll let it sit. I'll wait. Well, we watched the cameras all day. And it got to be about 3:30, 4 o'clock. No cattle. So
Yeah.
I was lickety split on the road
Yeah.
heading out there. And man, we've had these deer pattern. They've come out. They usually come out like right at end of shooting light.
Yeah.
You know, right before dark. Well, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I just see a rat start walking out. I got my camera, everything ready to film. Couldn't move because there was a person walked out. He was all jittery, and then here comes another one, and then here comes another one, and then here comes another one.
And we're talking
Another one.
Some good bucks. We need
There was over 1,000 inches of deer.
Yeah, we should try to get some pictures
sitting
out.
within 20 yards of me for right then at that moment. And
yeah,
I mean, opening day, I've never shot a deer opening day. I don't know about any of you guys. I don't know about him. I've never shot one opening day, but I'm sitting there now with my target buck in my sights, 20 or less yards, and there's 5 others right beside him that are. I mean, I've got the one. He was obviously the biggest, but I mean, the other ones ain't no scrubs.
they ain't scrubs.
They're not really any difference in size aside from amount of points. I mean, we got an 8-point that was honestly, in my opinion, even bigger than him. He's way wider and
he's
taller.
Probably 16, 17 inch spread.
Yeah,
that 8-point is.
He doesn't have the points, which I mean, who cares? It's a good buck.
Oh, absolutely. He's hanging on the wall.
That 11-point came out. Man, I sat there and I drew back. He was quartered away pretty steep. I mean, it was a comfortable shot. Like it wasn't 180 degrees. I wasn't shooting at his ass, but he was quartered away decent. And I let the arrow fly. And I had to aim back because of the steepness of the angle, and I'm on the ground. And as soon as I let it go, even at 20 yards, and this is something for any of you guys that just haven't ever seen it or wondering why you're hitting deer where you're hitting them, less than 20 yards, that deer had enough time to duck a little bit.
It's crazy how fast they are.
I was aiming kind of high anyway because I didn't want to shoot under him, but I wasn't aiming all the way at the top of his back. But
no,
he ducked me and spun me all at the same time as soon as I released that arrow. Saw the arrow impact. He took 2 steps running, flung the arrow out, about half of it. I had about half penetration.
Mind you, I know you said this earlier. He was quartered away, and we could talk about that all day long, Go ahead.
2 inches lower and I'd have dead deer, and I still might have a dead deer. We don't know.
We don't know.
We looked, and we never found anything. But we also, after that day, that kind of is what leads us into the whole struggle bus situation. Combination of the dryness, the addition of the acorn starting to drop.
Yeah.
Our traffic in there, looking for that deer.
Yeah.
And going shooting hogs, everything else. It's October lull, that mythical thing nobody ever wants to talk about.
Yeah.
It's all of it kind of came together like that. And everything just disappeared. When we weren't getting no deer in any of our locations on 160 acres, and the spot where we were at for this particular moment was on the furthest corner of the property. Like it's
Decent woodlot
yeah,
too.
it's
You know?
nowhere near anything else where it could affect it.
Uh-uh.
And we stopped seeing deer everywhere for a while. Finally started getting deer back, and we've seen every single buck that was in that on that day, minus two.
Yeah.
One is the one I shot,
Yeah.
and the other is this old, scraggly, old. I think he's maybe a 4-point or a 6-point. He's just got a giant main beam with like a couple little things sticking off.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Nasty looking buck. I want to shoot him honestly because he's so thick. You can tell he's old, but those two are the only ones that haven't shown up, and that one old scraggly one, that was the first time we'd ever seen him on camera anyway.
Yeah.
So we've seen him one time and never seen him again versus a buck we've seen every single day for months.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we don't, and we've seen all the others come back.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a man, especially somebody like me that made the shot, it definitely runs some thoughts through the head. You know, he's got to be dead somewhere, which is, it's sickening to me. I hate it. I've been fighting my demons since October 1st on the afternoon when I didn't find the deer, because having a deer of that caliber and knowing that there's a chance that he's either wounded or dead somewhere and somebody else could have gotten him, or coyotes have gotten him, and now he's just wasting. It's not anything that any reasonable hunter ever wants.
No, and it to go back to the point where you said you've never shot a deer on opening day. I've a lot of these from what I've learned and what I've seen and watched. A lot of these big game hunters, these professional hunters, these guys that eat, sleep, breathe deer hunting. They'll tell you too. They've killed some of their biggest bucks the first couple weeks of October.
Yeah.
Outside of rut,
yep.
They're
still in that September
they're still in their pattern. They're still bachelored up, and they've killed some of their biggest bucks. So it's and we'll get into this a little later because I kind of got a somewhat of a sickening feeling of something that happened to me, but you magnify that by 10. That's what Aaron's talking about right now. But yeah, dude, I mean, you hear guys say, "Oh, you don't hunt the October lull. You especially don't hunt October mornings. You don't hunt when it's 80 degrees. What do you know?" But I think this is just proof. It just kind of solidifies in my mind from what I've heard over the years, as far as getting out there the first couple weeks of October while they're bachelor up, while they're still focused on their food source.
They're less stressed.
They're not near as stressed. The pressure's not on them yet. And, they came in and you had the opportunity and you made a shot. And I pray that the deer's not dead because we hadn't seen him on camera. We hadn't found him. Hopefully he's not wounded, but you go back and watch that video, you clearly 100% hit him.
Oh, yeah. He was 100% hit, and it wasn't, if you see the footage, it's not a terrible shot.
No, it wasn't a terrible shot.
It's not a good shot either. It's a shot that there's a pretty decent chance it's a fatal shot, but there's a decent chance that it's not.
I think what obviously didn't play in your favor, and any of you guys out there that slung an arrow at a big buck or even a doe, no matter how much you practice, no matter how confident you are, you're going to get those jitters.
Yeah.
And you factor that in. And then on top of that, here we are, opening day afternoon. You put that into play.
With 5 other deer.
With 5 other bucks there. And the one you went after was unfortunately quartered away from you. You put all that in the mix. I mean, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
And
it doesn't help either. I talked about it earlier, that the drought we're in.
No.
Where we're at's really on a sand hill, and it's super dry. And I mean, we even tested it. We poured out some water right there near where I would have shot the deer at, and I mean, it's within 5 seconds.
Oh, dude.
You never even knew I poured water out.
No, gone.
Gone immediately.
Yeah.
So blood, if there's a deer shot in where I would have shot it at, it's going to be leaking, well after the shot. It's not going to be too instant. But if it hits any of that dirt, you're never going to see it.
No, and we were banking on that for that evening. And like, long story short, my buddy, my boss and my buddy, they come out with a thermal, some thermal binos, or I think a monocular, and we spent some time that evening going all glassing the property, trying to find any kind of heat source or anything that looked like a deer down, and unfortunately we weren't successful, but yeah, that was opening day.
Yeah, it was.
And boy,
it's an action-packed and disappointing day that started our. That was the day we punched our ticket for the struggle bus.
Yeah,
because it only got.
And,
I can't say it got worse because it don't get much worse than that.
I don't think it got worse.
It definitely didn't get any better.
If you would have asked me 4 weeks ago, how do you think the first month of season, opening season to be? It's not been a month yet. We're pushing coming up on a month.
We're right at a couple days.
I wouldn't have told you what we've been through, what we've done. I didn't see
the complete opposite.
I didn't see it coming, but yeah, man. So that was opening day. Missed out on a buck, but it happens. I say missed out on a buck. We didn't miss out on it. He didn't miss out on it. He, the shot was there. The circumstances, how it all played out. It's unfortunate. But yeah, we thought, man, we couldn't get any worse from there, and boy, did we have some more obstacles ahead of us. And
like I said, leading into the next obstacles, I told y'all about that opening morning, dealing with the cattle, and I mean, it was just like in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, moving.
Oh, crazy!
Just standing there, right where we're supposed to be hanging out at. They wouldn't leave us alone. So, we fought it for a while, and we finally bit the bullet and said, you know what, we're gonna put up some barbed wire, and we double stranded a little bit of barbed wire in the two locations that we didn't have a feeder at, so that way, our food plots that we planted don't get trampled by the cattle because they haven't been growing, no rain, cattle walking all over it. It's just not going to grow. But B, also, our corn, it's just, we're wasting money. Cattle come in there and they eat it all. So, we put up a couple strands of barbed wire, and man, I tell you what, it pissed them cattle off because they came up there to that fence and they were just looking, and they couldn't find a way in, and they'd move on. It was great.
Back up for a minute. We're talking about this barbed wire. I think we had our first little tussle too, mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything was actually said, but it was made known one way or another. It's kind of a funny deal. So we knew this is our first time hunting on a piece of property that we have to do with cattle.
Yeah.
And going into it, I didn't really think that much about it.
I didn't think they'd be that big of a deal.
No, and like you said earlier, man, we were feeding for 2 months.
And we never had an issue.
Never had an issue.
Until like 3 days before opening day.
And I guess that's just, I don't know if that's, us.
The deer paying the cows off. It's not a conspiracy theory, I promise.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of us being. Are we off? Oh my God! Hold on, guys. I don't know if you got video right now. Audio should still be good. Aaron's fixing that right now, but back to what I was saying. with us, neither one of us ever being on a piece of property that holds cattle. We knew that deer and cattle they co they lived with each other. They um, we knew they were there, um, and so we just rolled with it, and we've been feeding. And I don't know if it took the cattle 6, 7, 8 weeks to finally find our food plots, our areas that we threw out corn. I'm sure that was the case, but once they found it, it was like game on for them, and we knew we had to do something, and the it just sucked because here we are, we're 2 weeks into deer season, and we've been feeding, had no issues, but now all of a sudden we've got a problem with this cattle, so we had to pivot, and and what I was saying earlier, man, it was one morning we had planned, Aaron and I, to plan to go out there and knock out. We're gonna fence off with barbed wire, 2 or 3 strands, these two certain locations to keep this cattle off our plots and our corn. And I think Aaron went out and bought he got the barbed wire, he got all the shit we needed, and we were supposed to get up one morning, and I slept in. Aaron called me, he texted me, and I didn't mean to. It was a complete accident. Anyways, he ended up going out there to one side, and he knocked out. He got one strand wrapped, and he ended up having to go. And we rolled like we kind of got. We were able to see what the cattle were able to do off just running one strand around the plot, and a couple of them got in. But anyways, I'm saying this to say, there was some kind of heated. He was angry. I knew he was angry. He didn't say nothing. So I finally, a couple days later, I got up with him. I said, "Listen, I screwed up. I know you're mad. You did all that work. So, long story short, I took off work one day. Actually, got the other side knocked out. We went back a few days later, got the side he started. We threw another strand down on that side, and ever since then, cattle hadn't been a problem at all. Um, so it seemed to be working out really well, and it's just running 2 or 3 strands of barbed wire around our food plot on both sides, and just keeping them out. And I think they tried for a few days to get in to try to get to the corn, and once they realized that it ain't happening, they have not been a problem since. So that's worked out great. That was an obstacle that we overcame and fixed pretty quick. It just sucked that it was during deer season. But yeah. Sorry, we're working on right now getting this video back up. I apologize, guys. Like I said, we're trying to work at all these kinks. It's kind of another reason why we hadn't been more consistent with these videos. But we're going to shut down real quick so we can restart this. We'll be right back.